in Penang by assisting local companies to move up the value chain and promote the culture of Silicon Valley startups. Centralizing business operations from global locations with future-ready global talents. We propel Penang to become the intelligent international hub in the digital economy. This is Penang, and the future is here.
Penang.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to InvestPenang's flagship event, CEO Speaks. Today, we are delighted to have a Senior VP of Global Flash Back-End Operations at Western Digital, Mr. KL Bock, to share with us WD's journey in becoming the first site in Malaysia to receive the prestigious Global Lighthouse recognition by World Economic Forum. It's great to have you with us, Mr. Bock. First, a couple of housekeeping rules. This webinar will be recorded. Throughout this session, all participants' audio will be muted, and we will have a Q&A session after Mr. Bock's presentation. Please leave your questions in the Q&A function during the discussion for the speakers to address at the end of the presentation. Now, a little bit of introduction of Mr. Bock. Mr. Bock is the Senior VP of Global Flash Back-End Operations in Western Digital. He has over 30 years of vast experience in various functions of various MNCs, and he is very strong in the implementation and practices of lean manufacturing and total productive manufacturing, transforming conventional factories to the Lean Six Sigma automation and achieving lights out intelligent factory. Now, a bit of introduction of the topic. The topic for today's CEO Speak is Western Digital's recognition as WEF's Global Lighthouse Network, a journey towards intelligent factory. The Global Lighthouse Network is awarded to companies that showcase leadership in adopting Fourth Industrial Revolution technologies, transformation to generate compelling financial, operational, and environmental returns. I think today's topic is very relevant for us because I think the biggest topic now in today's industry sector is the shortages of manpower, be it the labor force, operators, and also the engineering talent and technical workforce as well. I had the privilege to visit Mr. Bock about 4 or 5 years ago when he started his first lights out factory in Shanghai. And I was pretty impressed by what his project has actually achieved. So I was very excited when he has implemented this project in Penang. And I think it's important for Penang in a couple of folds. First, I think by implementing this project, Mr. Bock and his team has started to train a group of talent in Penang in this area of Industry 4.0 intelligent factory. So we have a group of talent that is being trained in Penang. Secondly, by working with the local SMEs as well as the subcontractor and the suppliers here, he is also starting to train the local supply chain of contractors and suppliers and professionals who are versatile and who are already receiving a lot of experience in this Industry 4.0 application. And also very importantly, I will also want to express our gratitude to Mr. Bock for his willingness to share his experience and to showcase his factory to all of us today. So without further ado, I would now like to pass this to Mr. Bock for his presentation. Over to you, Mr. Bock.
Okay, thank you, Dato Lu and InvestPenang for inviting us to share this WEF destination and our journey. So what I'll do now, okay, I will pull up my PowerPoint. Just bear with me. Okay. Hayden, you can see the PPT, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah. Again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank you for joining us, okay, in this session. Again, it's a pleasure for me to be able to share this experience and also the journey of Intelligent Factory. Well, the destination by WEF, World Economic Forum, Global Lighthouse Network is just a byproduct, okay, of what we are doing. So I would not spend too much time on that. And in fact, okay, I prefer to spend a little bit more insight on how we deliver, or rather how we embark on this journey. And at the same time, okay, what a so-called framework and infrastructure, okay, they will put in place, okay, to embark on this journey. To result in the ultimate goals and objective. And then I would prefer to spend more time on Q&A, right? Because I understand, okay, in this audience, okay, there are C-suite all the way down to engineer. So there are vast scale of interest, okay, from different level of audience, okay. So I may not want to bore you with too much detail and yet too high level. So allow me to just balance, okay, between the two. So before I go further, okay, of course, being the first lighthouse designated by WEF in this global lighthouse network, okay, so we are also proud to say that, okay, Malaysia Book of Records has kind of admitted us into this Book of Records, okay, as one of the first in the country to be designated by the World Economic Forum. And again, this is just a byproduct, okay, of what we do, okay, what we journey on with the end in mind of lights out manufacturing. So my forum here, the content will cover a little bit of World Economic Forum. Dato has given some briefing or a brief introduction of that. And then I will go into how we do it in STSM, Batu Kawan, Western Digital Batu Kawan. And then at the same time of going forward, okay, what do we envision, okay, this journey, okay, will kind of unfold. So allow me to just give you a little bit of video clips, okay, from WEF itself.
Welcome to Lighthouses Live. Western Digital has 2 lighthouses joining the network today. One in Malaysia and one in Thailand. In Penang, the solid-state drive manufacturing site transitioned to a fully automated warehouse with centralized command center, while upskilling almost half of their workforce with zero job elimination.
It's an amazing effort and program, and we're delighted to be a part of it. And it's great to spend some time here today with my colleagues talking about this incredibly important topic. I also want to start by thanking our teams in Penang, Malaysia, and Prachinburi, Thailand. They're the first lighthouse in their respective countries. So it's just a tremendous achievement. It's something that the team has been really dedicated to and really, really happy with what we've accomplished. From the people in operations all the way to the executive team, and everybody is involved and behind this exciting effort. So really keeping our people, reskilling our people, building that future ready workforce is what's critical for us, but also our employees. I think, you know, any time in life when you learn new skills, when you educate yourself, I think you have the opportunity to live a better life. It's not just about our company being better and us being prepared for the future. It's about all of our employees being ready for that future. So keeping them at the center, having them highly engaged, all of the reskilling, getting them excited about what the future holds. You know, change is opportunity for everybody. Keeps them directly at the center of what we're doing. And as I said, having our employees fully engaged, really building that future-ready workforce is going to be what defines the success of Western Digital. So we're really happy with the progress we've made, and we're really excited about the recognition that we've gotten. An easy way to think about us is 40% of the data that's stored in the world is stored on a device that our team builds. So that's kind of an amazing stat. 40% of the data in the world that's stored is stored on a device that these teams build. And the demand for that storage is increasing at a 35% yearly compounded annual growth rate. Thousands of engineers that are designing the products of the future that are going to enable the digital economy we all live in, and making sure we have a workforce that's ready to build that technology is just critically important to us. And so it's really about making Western Digital the employer of choice in the regions that you saw. And that's about that stronger workforce engagement, training them, letting people know that when you come to Western Digital, you're not just going to do the job you have today, but you're going to learn new skills.
Bringing fourth industrial revolution technologies to their organizations and the impact they are having.
Many congratulations again to all our new lighthouses.
So one very important key recipe, okay, for the success of this, if we were to note and listen to Western Digital CEO talking about it, is the people, okay? And it's all about the people mindset, the people centric in terms of, just like Dato mentioned just now, right? Developing the key talent, okay, to be able to embark on this journey, and at the same time, developing them, reskilling them, upskilling them, okay, preparing them, okay, for this 4IR revolution journey. So the center of this success is people. So if all of you want to reset the understanding, okay, how to embark on this, okay, first thing first, do focus on the people to have the right mindset and also the right interest and motivation, okay, want to embark on this journey, and also leverage and benefiting, okay, from this journey. So a little bit beside what Dato has mentioned on the Global Lighthouse Network, okay, this was kind of initiated by World Economic Forum and McKinsey and the company way back in 2018. Their primary objective then was to drive and accelerate, okay, the adoption of fourth industrial revolution or 4IR technologies, right? Because there's a lagging in terms of the availability of this solution, and yet many global manufacturing community are not embarking on it. So that because of that, WEF was kind of established, okay, to help orchestrate, okay, and accelerate, okay, this journey. So this Global Lighthouse Network, okay, since 2018, when it was first started, it basically comprises of community of manufacturers, okay, or manufacturing sites that have shown advanced leadership in 4IR technologies, okay, application and also deployment. So from adoption to adaptation, okay, and deploying it at scale. Of course, bottom line is with the end in mind of driving financial, operational, and sustainability impact, okay, to the business, right? So sustainability impact was lately introduced, okay, by WEF as one of the other components beside financial and operational impact, okay, that are their prime objective when they evaluate, okay, and designate a lighthouse, okay, into this Global Lighthouse Network. So the Global Lighthouse Network characteristic, okay, very simply means, okay, it will look out for outstanding sites that implement, deploy at scale, okay, advanced 4IR technologies, and not only in one particular process, okay, but across the process change. Like for Western Digital Batu Kawan, we kind of look at the end-to-end, right? We call the four wall of implementation and adoption of this 4IR technology. So you must show, okay, transformation at scale. Okay, so when I say at scale, of course, to even subscribe to meet the minimum criteria, you need to be able to show a scale of at least 50% of deployment or implementation of this transformation journey, okay, in that particular respective 4IR technologies that you embrace, okay, as your enablers or solution. And the other area that they look at, of course, within the four wall, okay, they also kind of interested to look at right from supplier, okay, to customer, end-to-end value chain, right, supply chain. So this is beyond the four wall, okay, that the Global Lighthouse Network, okay, will be kind of interested to designate those site or company, okay, that's implemented at scale and at advanced stage, okay, of this 4IR technology. So in short, characteristic of Lighthouse is that, okay, to be designated, it must be outstanding, it must transform at scale, and it must show end-to-end connected value chain, okay, in the implementation. So just going back, okay, a little bit more detail on the Lighthouse criteria, okay. So WEF will kind of like look at how do you integrate the use cases, right? The use cases, that means the change story. Okay, I will go into the change story for Western Digital Batu Kawan as an example. But one of the very critical criteria is, okay, you may have many use cases, okay, but they would like to look at any of those selected use cases that they want to present must be integrated, okay, in terms of the technology that you use, the scale, okay, of implementation, and the eventual impact, okay, to the financial, operational, or sustainability impact of the business. So they will look at end-to-end, okay, of that integrated transformational kind of storyline. And how do you enable that? Okay, because it's very important. A lot of people want to start. A lot of people jump into 4IR technology kind of implementation, okay, and very short life. The interest, the motivation, okay, the implementation kind of dies off, okay, in a short period of time, and you don't leverage and you don't get the full benefit or optimum benefit, okay, of embarking on this 4IR technology and leveraging, okay, the benefit of that change story or enablers, right? So it's very important. Fundamentally, the foundation should be set with a sustainable ecosystem and environment, right? Of enablers, okay. So agile methods, okay. Agile method is just a methods of how you do program management, how you do reviews and things like that, okay. Not going into detail, I believe a lot of you have heard about agile method. And the next important thing is, that set the foundation, okay, for a solidified way of implementing is the talent. And when we say talent, like Dato mentioned just now, the key talent that you need to develop, you need to identify to at least be able to start the 4IR journey. And at the same time, along the way, right, okay, you will not be able to find, okay, key talent that is completely meeting all the 9 to 11, okay, component of the 4IR component, right? So you probably have skeleton of talent here and there that only have certain percentage of knowledge, okay, into the 4IR technologies, but that does not stop us, okay, from providing the right platform for training, development, and reskilling or upskilling of this talent, okay, that you put in place, okay, to drive this 4IR technology. And Digital Studio is another area, okay, that you provide the enablers in terms of instrument, equipment, or technology know-how or whatever as a studio concept, right? That your talent or your people can go there and learn and practice and innovate themselves, okay, to come up with a solution. And the other more important things is also from corporate perspective, okay. I would say, like I said just now, one of the key recipe for success is the mindset, right? The buy-in, okay, the support level, okay, from the corporate, okay. So especially those of you that are able to make decision and provide the direction and the funding and things like that, okay. So first thing first, if you have a transformation office that cut across different level, of people that will be able to organize, okay, and orchestrate this office, okay, roles and responsibility to transform the organization or the solution, okay, into reality. So that will be also one key area that you have transformation office, okay, that have cadence of review and continuous improvement, okay, of that implementation. And the other one is the infrastructure. Okay, of course, it'll be good, okay, to have this data infrastructure, okay, to be able to support, because when you implement 4IR technology, if you go back to what I mentioned just now, it have to be integrated. You don't do automation for the sake of automation at one particular process, and you will not be able to leverage, okay, the integration, the downstream and upstream kind of integration of the system solution or the data digitization or digitalization of the data, right? So that require data infrastructure, okay, to be able to support that, okay? So a little bit deep dive into the inside of the four-wall application of STSM, or rather we call Batu Kawan, Western Digital Batu Kawan site. Again, always start with end in mind, the change story. Okay, so WEF will look up for what is your change story, or what is a transformation story, right? So for Western Digital Batu Kawan, okay, just like Dato mentioned, okay, we started, of course, our captive and also our 4IR journey, lights out manufacturing journey in Shanghai, when we first started, okay, our factory operation in Penang Batu Kawan. So we also come with the same mindset, okay, that we want to eventually implement, okay, the same. And this Batu Kawan factory is slightly more complicated, okay, in the sense, okay, it's a two operation in one factory. We have the SIP operation or the component factory, okay, that kind of like similar to the Shanghai factory. So for that case, you can just port whatever solution, okay, from Shanghai, right, okay, on that component operation. But we have another complicated operation, okay, which we started, which is the solid state drive part of it, which was very, very manual, very labor intensive, and the process are kind of scattered around, okay, not integrated, and we have to kind of do a lot of first article to kind of connect, okay, the automation journey, okay, to be able to have a infrastructure that integrated, okay, to be able to cater for this high growth of more than 2x, at the same time be able to cater for high mix, high volume kind of product loading, okay, in the manufacturing side that we have, right? So how do we do that? Okay, I will just give you two very key approach, okay, that we embark on. First thing first, okay, like I mentioned just now, you don't automate for the sake of automation. We automate with the end in mind of operational, financial, and also sustainability impact in mind. And at the same time, to the level of going beyond 4IR technology, which is what we call the lights out manufacturing, where if you are able to do lights out, okay, that means you have very, very minimum human or very minimum human touch point or intervention, okay, in your manufacturing process chain, right? So that is the end in mind, okay, that we're trying to drive. So with that in mind, okay, how do we approach, especially for the solid state drive? It's so manual, so sporadic, and so labor intensive. So what we do is that, okay, we have this what we call pieces approach. Okay, keep it simple, standardize it, eliminate whatever that you don't need, okay, in between, or whatever process that you can innovate and eliminate, okay, design out, and streamline it, okay, so that you have the most optimum process chain, or rather integrated process, to the extent that, okay, it's easier to automate, much more, okay, much more optimum when you automate it, and much more cost effective, okay, if you were to automate it, versus, okay, if you were to just automate by in pockets, right, okay, by whatever manual process, okay, try to transform it into automation or whatever. So that's not the way. And of course, we look at the holistic end-to-end. Okay, what we call in any manufacturing, okay, you definitely have a process. You definitely have a manual, okay, or rather you have what we call material handling, okay, that you need to integrate from process to process if the process are not fully integrated, right? So we call robotics, okay, you need to be able to come up with roboticized kind of solution, okay, to take away that human element of integrating the process versus, okay, if you could integrate them together, of course, that's the best. Otherwise, there's still material handling kind of things that you need to have a robotized solution, okay, to integrate them. And then you need to also have system solution, the infrastructure that you need to put in place, okay. You need to have storage solution, okay, that you need to put in place. You need to have material integration, okay, into the system, okay. So and in mind, and of course, end of the day, you also need to do data analytics, okay. When the data is digitized, you can digitalize, okay, the integration, and you can do analytics and also artificial intelligence, right? So that's why we call do cases first, then make sure the cases cut across the prism DNA. So PRISM, okay, DNA, right? What I just articulated, okay, the approach of making sure it's holistic, end-to-end of the four wall of integration. So the 5 impactful use cases, okay, as an example here that you can read from the abstract of WEF, actually, it is there. But how do we kind of narrow down to these 5 use cases? Okay, WEF will look at, okay, what do you have, okay, in the change story, right? So from the change story, okay, typically we submit, okay, 20 or above 20 use cases. From that 20 cases, okay, there will be a lot of cadence in terms of they will review with you, okay, in terms of sizing it down to the most impactful one. And at the same time, they will look for most advanced one. And also you implement it at scale. So after sizing and filtering all those, okay, they will just choose 5 of them, okay, to be the use cases, okay, for them to be able to kind of assess in detail. So the assessment will either be on-site, okay, but of course with COVID-19, okay, this is done virtually. And after that, okay, there will be a kind of a panel discussion, panel interview, okay, to select, okay, whether you're designated or not designated. So you can see all these 5 impactful use cases. As example, I'm not going to go into detail. Okay, this slide I think will be provided to you. And the key thing is the impact. Okay, in terms of labor productivity, OEE, lead time, quality, and also kind of process excursion reduction. Right. End of the day, they also look for overall impact. Okay, in terms of factory cost reduction. So they look for anything, whatever you do out of that 5 use cases, okay, it must result in 30% and above improvement, okay, as a minimum cost impact, okay, to the business. So those are the things that they will be looking for, okay. So you will be asking, right, okay, how easy, okay, to do this, okay, and I would say it's not easy. Since 2018, when this was established, okay, over 1,000 or more than 1,000 kind of application, only 5% success rate, okay. So that accounted for only 90 lighthouse sites around the world, okay, that has been designated. And of course, Western Digital Batukawan was one of those, okay, in Malaysia, and first in Malaysia. Including our sister factory in Thailand, okay, also first in Thailand. So the bar is kind of raised, okay. Every time, okay, WEF kind of go around, okay, to kind of evaluate those sites that subscribe, okay, to apply for this lighthouse destination. So they will use that as a baseline for the next, okay, equivalent industry. So like for semicon, okay, there have been a couple of semicon that has been designated. So Batukawan have to show, okay, above and beyond, okay, that advanced implementation and deployment and impact, okay, to be meeting the criteria. So the bar will be raised, okay, the expectation will be raised year over year. So one way to look at it also is easier to do it now, okay, versus waiting another year, right? So a little bit of promotion about Batu Kawan, okay, Western Digital, okay, of course, we produce 1.9 million dies, okay, per day of the component, and also 150K drives a day, okay, for the solid state drive. And this is one of the industry first vertically integrated, where wafer in component being assembled and test into solid state drive and ship out. Okay, so I think I've spoken too much, or rather talked too much. Okay, so I would like to just maybe take another 3 minutes, okay, to show a video that you can visualize, okay, and listen to the articulation of how we transform this journey, and at the same time be able to see the background, okay, video clips of the manufacturing environment, right, at Western Digital Batu Kawan.
Malaysia strategically positioned in the heart of Southeast Asia. Located in the Silicon Valley of Malaysia, Western Digital Penang is a vertically integrated manufacturing facility that owns end-to-end processes of solid-state data storage products.
To become eligible for Lighthouse consideration, companies must demonstrate how they have integrated industry-leading 4IR technologies into the operations at scale at their sites, and how they have created significant impact and have an ecosystem of a strong transformations office, enterprise data architecture, demonstrated workforce upskilling achievements, and partnership with suppliers and customers to sustain the transformation. To date, there is only 90 Lighthouse sites worldwide, and it is a great milestone for Western Digital Batu Kawan being the very first Lighthouse designated in Malaysia. This recognition has set us as an icon of global standard for smart and intelligent manufacturing sites that have deployed at scale the advanced 4IR technologies such as artificial intelligence, robotics, IoT, and advanced analytics, to name a few. It helped to transform our operational, financial, and sustainability, efficiency, and competitiveness at scale. Our 4IR journey has been a fulfilling experience, where our operations have been transformed and resulted in significant impact to the company and the people. We excel beyond 4IR, driving ourselves in realizing the lights out manufacturing as the end in mind.
So the advantages are far and beyond. I think what struck us as a big factor during the pandemic was how we were able to continue to grow as a site despite challenges of employees being on quarantine or employees being affected by cases in the community and so on and so forth. But at the heart of it, beyond productivity improvements, beyond capability improvements, the second part that I see valuable ever since we've got on this journey of automation or 4IR is the predictable quality that we're able to produce, and last but not least, an opportunity for our employees to continue to learn, to continue to develop an operator to become a technician to become an engineer to become a knowledge engineer. And that journey will continue to happen on the site. I think our work is not completely done yet. This journey continues. We have a long way to go in terms of taking 4IR to the level where we can leapfrog to Industry 5.0, where human and robot work together. That is the vision that we're striving towards. So I think we've done a lot, and the recognition that we've received as a result of that. But I think our work is, we're just getting started on this journey to the next level.
Okay, you have basically here just now, okay, the WEF introduction, very brief introduction, the characteristic and also the criteria, and also how Western Digital Batu Kawan has kind of embarked on this, and what are the use cases used, okay, to kind of result in the ultimate objective that meet the criteria of WEF and also a little bit insight into the factory, okay, how is operating, okay, through the video just now. And now some of you may be asking, right, can we go a little bit more insight, okay, to understand, okay, what has been transformed, okay, beside the common understanding of 4IR terminology, okay, what exactly, okay, that we have implemented, okay, since then, okay, or rather from then to now, and then going forward, right? So the next couple of slides will kind of focus on that. So in 2016, actually we started operation in 2015. Okay, so in 2016, okay, if we were to just reverse engineer a little bit, okay, like I mentioned just now, we have two operations in the same factory or same location. Okay, with one factory, solid state drive, been very manual, very labor intensive. Many different touch point and very challenging, okay, very complex product, high mix, high volume kind of environment, and being in a new environment at the same time, okay, having to recruit a lot of talents, okay, from multiple different background, okay, and capabilities and things like that, right? So manpower, even though we have the manpower, okay, but it's very challenging, okay. To kind of like work around, okay, to sustain, okay, the capability and also the improvement and also the way we kind of grow ourselves, okay, in an exponential manner, right? And trolley, I think a lot of you can associate to that. Okay, we have human, okay, pushing trolley everywhere, knocking into each other potentially because of manual operation where we have very labor intensive environment. We have many cabinets, okay, yeah, of course some more advanced will have the auto sensor cabinets, okay, those not advanced, okay, probably just have a door cabinet and things like that, right? Okay, without N2 or with N2 or whatever. A lot of reports, okay, in a manufacturing environment, okay, a lot of papers generated, a lot of trees being cut, okay, in the equipment, in the process, control, a lot of checklists, okay, either manual or digitized kind of checklists, okay, but it's still very labor intensive in carrying out the job. Whenever we have problem or we don't have problem, okay, we need to characterize the process, okay, we need to do a lot of DOE, you need to spend a lot of runs, okay, just to get your DOE right, okay, and of course over the years you learn a little bit, okay, to be better, to be more efficient. But it's still DOE, right? DOE is still DOE. Still need to do a lot of runs, okay, just to get to the final recipe. And a lot of assist, okay, a lot of performance, I mean, machine equipment assist required because a lot of manual touch point, okay, and from planning perspective, okay, it's very manual, okay, where a lot of Excel spreadsheet flying around, okay, looking at shift, daily, weekly, monthly loading plan, and require a lot of cadence of triggering, okay, to manage, okay, the operation. So it's very chaotic, very labor intensive, a lot of waste, okay. So then we embark on this, okay. It's the same thing, okay. When Dato Lu visited us in Shanghai, I kind of tell Dato Lu, okay, we have this slogan of what we call do more with less, okay, so that we can pay more to less. So do more with less means less effort, less man hour, less waste, okay. So 2016, we are just in that environment, okay, and basically kind of carry forward the very manual process, okay, from SSD operation, right, and we are rewinding ourselves, okay, in Penang, Batu Kawan, okay, just to get ourselves to where we are today. So where we are today, so it's nothing very much different from the Shanghai, if you ask me, okay. We are basically leveraging the same technological solution, okay, the 4IR capabilities, okay, that we have kind of enabled in Shanghai, and just port it over. Of course, for the SSD process, okay, we need to automate it, okay, a lot of first article automation and integration. And again, like I mentioned just now, okay, we have to go through a lot of cases, okay, just to get to the right automation that we want, and also the integration, right? So in a nutshell, okay, man and robot, okay, basically robot here means robotic, okay, it's basically the the ARV kind of robotic working together, okay. And then storage, okay, no more those manual cabinets, okay, but it's more on automation or auto robotic storage, okay, that have digitized visibility and also kind of digitized planning, okay, that you can use, okay, to trigger and integrate, okay, the process to process automation, right? Yeah, in terms of lots movement, lots readiness and things like that, right? And then the intelligent MBO, okay, or we call now CCS, okay, command center system. Basically, is a remote system outside the production floor that, okay, we upskill the operator to be able to do this job versus in a line, okay, they have to manually walk to every machine that have a machine assist requirement. But now they can do it remotely, okay, at a glance, okay, at looking at the whole shop floor, right, or production floor. And then paperless, basically animated with RFID concept, okay, no paper, no writing, no recording, all just basically kind of digitized, okay, through clouds. And of course, from a checklist perspective, okay, from preventive maintenance perspective, since the data are digitized, okay, we can use smart glass, okay, and artificial intelligence, okay, to connect, okay, the process to process, okay, controls. And APC is basically advanced process control, where we have sensors, okay, Internet of Things, okay, connected to the machine to get the data, to set, okay, the controls, at the same time to set the trigger. And to a certain extent, of course, with some artificial intelligence, okay, machine learning and things like that, okay, you can then kind of design in some logic, okay, to be able to self-correct, okay. And ICCS is an extension of the IMBO that I just mentioned. And the heart of the whole manufacturing is what we call the ASD, auto scheduling and dispatching, okay, that connect, okay, to the robotic, connect to the storage, connect to the lot to lot, and connect to the machine, okay, that are able to kind of automatically schedule and dispatch, okay, the needed lots transaction, right? And of course, iWatch is just, you saw in the video, is basically, this is to help the technician and the engineers, okay, in terms of visibility of process assist, okay, timely, okay. So with that said, okay, going forward, okay, what do we see entail? Okay, of course, it's still end to end. Of course, we will kind of embark a lot more on the beyond the four wall, okay, to supplier and customer, and at the same time, okay, focus a lot more on predictive, prescriptive, okay, that we already have, okay, just continue to advance on that, including machine learning and deep learning, okay, to continue to advance on that so that we can fully kind of embark on a full artificial intelligence kind of environment, okay. And I believe some of you can just search through Google, okay, to find, okay, the Industry 5.0. I'm not going to spend time on this, okay, because you can also read through that. But what does that mean to us, Industry 5.0, right? If you are Industry 4.0 ready and already implemented at scale, already kind of reaping the benefits, okay, so what do you plan to do, okay, going forward to kind of get yourself ready to embark on the next technology and leverage that benefit, right? So we translate it to in a way that, okay, from people perspective, okay, we will see that, okay, our IDL and DL ratio, okay, that in the past, okay, we have 70% DL, 30% IDL. So this ratio will change. You will flip over to have 70% IDL and 30% DL. That will also mean, okay, the knowledge base of our workforce, okay, will be growing towards more on IDL with much more knowledge worker, okay, heavy in the factory, right? And then we also foresee that eventually we will have a human robot, or we call humanoid, working together, okay, with limited human and the process machinery, right, in the line itself, okay. In the current stage, you still need a human, okay, to carry the smart glass, okay, to walk around, okay, to do the smart glass, artificial intelligence or whatever, right? Okay, but eventually, okay, we see that, okay, that physical human will be translated or rather transformed, okay, into a humanoid, okay, that will be doing that job. And then you can maximize that because you have data digitized, okay, that connected, and this so-called humanoid, okay, will be able to do a better job, okay, versus a physical human going forward, right? So that is that means, okay, we will be more 5IR ready, okay, on the people side. And on the tech ecosystem, same thing, supply chain, data accessibility, robot, okay, using smart glass, I just mentioned, in terms of technology. And of course, we will continue to embark on our end-to-end, okay, lights out, okay, and at the same time, okay, driving our Prism DNA to a greater scale. And on new technology, of course, with this adoption, with this way of doing things, okay, a change in mindset, a change in the way we do things, we will be able to drive a lot more innovation, okay, and on the information technologies, okay, basically IIoT will be key. End of the day, okay, we also subscribe to sustainability, like I mentioned just now, okay, WEF has kind of added this into their portfolio, okay, and we have subscribed to drive a 42% reduction of emission by 2030, okay, as a corporation, okay. So with that, okay, I end my presentation. Nothing is impossible. In fact, all of us are here, okay, to make the impossible possible, and it has been realized repeatedly, okay, in Western Digital, in Shanghai, and also in Batu Kawan, and there's no reason why it could not be enhanced. It could not be realized, okay, in your respective knowledge domain, right? In terms of making your manufacturing site much more lean, okay, and much more, okay, productive, okay, as an end result. And embarking on this WEF destination, even though, like I mentioned just now, it's a 5% success rate. When we first embark on that, it's just we take it just like, okay, I mentioned earlier, it's a kind of like a side benefit, right? It's a byproduct, okay. That is not the end that you need to chase, okay, I would say, but it's a fulfillment and also fulfilling experience, okay, if you are able to get designated, okay, because the process itself will elevate yourself, okay, into a higher ground, being benchmarking yourself, okay, with those advanced lighthouses, okay, in the global network. Right? So with that, okay, I will pass back to you, Paywan. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bock, thank you very much for that. We only have about 10 minutes more for Q&A, and there are already a few questions that's been posed to you. I'm going to just dive into this, and because just to make sure that we meet the 1 hour allocated for this session. The first question that was received, and I remember there was also the question I posed to you when I visited your plant, was what was the payback period for this IR 4.0 journey? Okay.
Yeah, good question. This is very typical question. Everyone, okay, before they embark on this, they will ask this question, right? When talk about investment, the payback period, okay, based on our experience, like we say, okay, we did it in Shanghai, we did it in Batu Kawan, okay. On the average is 1.5, okay, 1.5 years. But of course, just some sharing some experience, okay. Like I said just now, when you approach this 4IR journey, you need to look at holistic. You need to look at end-to-end, okay, four wall, okay, within the manufacturing side. And then you scoop that, okay, with the pieces approach, okay, and then looking at the Prism DNA. Then you kind of like analyze it, okay, to the analytic level and be able to tell you, right, there are certain process area, maybe 2 years. Certain process area, maybe 3 years actually. But there are certain process area that are very labor intensive, a lot of manual touch point, creating a lot of quality problem, a lot of yield problem or whatever. So those will kind of like be a quick win, okay, if you can implement all those areas. And those may be less than 1 year or 0.5 years and things like that, right? So on the average, okay, you'll be about 1.5 years. But of course, as an industry standard, okay, corporate normally ask for less than 2 years, or rather 2 years and below. So if you have anything 2 years and below, I think it's good to go. But if you need help, okay, in terms of understanding more, how do we arrive at that ROI, right? Okay, so of course, we definitely will be able to kind of share some experiences. What are the things that you need to look at? And like I say, very important to look at holistic. Okay.
Thank you for that. A lot of questions regarding how much dependency on internal versus external resources for especially newer subjects like data science, IT consultants for your journey. Is training up the internal subject matter experts and resources an important baseline? I think that repeatedly that question's been asked, how much, what was the role of external parties and consultants and institutions that play in this part? And somebody also asked, how did you get the management buy-in to invest to this transition to Industry 4.0? I think this person is also trying to get this buy-in from his own company, and maybe you can give him some tip of how to do that.
Okay.
So
yeah, I will leave the...
Sorry, 2 questions. How to get the company buy-in, and then how do you leverage between internal resources, upscaling of the people, and then versus how much external resources did you use for this journey?
Okay. So if you all recall, I mentioned earlier, first thing first, right? The mindset, okay? And the corporate support, your boss's support is very, very key, very important. They have to see this. They have to see this as the way, okay? I mean, the Industrial Revolution has been here in decades, right? Okay, so every 10 years is kind of like another revolution, right? So it's not too late if you ask me, even though now it's a fourth industrial revolution, okay, it's not too late to embark on it, okay. In fact, it's much more matured now. I would say it's much more matured now in terms of technology or the 4IR. At the same time, the ecosystem, right, the infrastructure available to support this is much more available. So you should be able to kind of like embark on that and leverage that, okay. But before I go into that ecosystem, okay, in more detail, yeah, you are right, okay. It's very critical for the bosses, okay, to support this. One way I would advise you is, like I mentioned just now, look at holistic. Okay, it's just like I was an engineer those days. Okay, every day you deal with problem. Every day you deal with quality problem and a yield problem and things like that. Okay, so all of us need transformation. You cannot continue to do incremental improvement. Okay, you will be kind of like just rewording, okay, the action item. Okay, I will tell you based on my experience. So you need to break through that, okay, by coming up with innovative way of doing it. Okay, that leapfrog, right? Okay, and give a big impact in terms of business or operational impact. Okay, so with that in mind, if you were to size it up, okay, holistically, you will be able to see that it covers a lot of things. It covers quality, it covers yield, it covers scrap, it covers productivity, it covers touch point, it covers, okay, the labor intensive. Like I said just now, right? Okay, do more with less in the sense, okay, less manpower, man-hour, less effort, and less waste, right? Okay, so put it into holistic, okay, and you will be able to show, okay, your boss, okay, that, okay, this is a journey that we should implement, but of course, we should prioritize. We should prioritize which one is a quick win, okay, so that we can get that buyback first, right? And I always tell people, right, especially if you were to write on this, you do this, okay. One thing is that, okay, you kind of like create capex, or you self-sustain, self-funding. Okay, because if you do this, you will see that your productivity improve. Okay, your manufacturing lead time improve. You see your yield improve, your quality improve, and things like that, right? And those days you have to spend a lot of money. Okay, just to work around all these issues. Okay, those money are kind of like self-funding for you to invest in the longer journey and recuperate that as a total benefit, okay, in a long way, right? And then just now you asked the question on ecosystem, okay, or rather the infrastructure, internal, external. Of course, 2011 when we first started in Shanghai, there's no total solution, and there is no vendor. Okay, in fact, we started in Shanghai. Of course, we look at both local and overseas solution provider, right? And we have to rely on five different kind of vendors, okay, to provide this solution that I mentioned, Prism DNA. And we have to manage them, okay, and it's quite painful. I can tell you, it's quite painful, quite resourceful, okay, to manage them. But now, like I say, the ecosystem is there. The infrastructure of all these service providers is there. In fact, for the Batu Kawan one, we are using, okay, out of that 5, okay, we are using 3 of them local, okay, that anchor our solution. We still rely on the China robotic, okay, because we tried the local, it doesn't work. We still rely on the RFID, okay, of China, okay, and the rest of them are all internal, local, inclusive of the data enterprise solution or infrastructure solution, okay.
Thank you for addressing that question, because there's been a lot of questions in the Q&A which actually asked you, what is the percentage of the local solution providers versus the foreign solution providers? And in your opinion, are the local solution providers ready to support this transformation? And I think part of what you're doing is also to train the local solution providers to provide you solutions to this journey as well. That's why I think what you do is really great for Penang. You're helping us to build the SMEs and the local team, and they can then in turn support the other companies when they also start this journey as well. Which leads to one question I have from the Q&A, Mr. Bock. Is Western Digital going to embark on this as a business?
Oh, well, when I mean, frankly speaking, right, when Western Digital acquired Legacy SanDisk, okay, in fact, the COO was looking at this as part of the business, right, whether they want to embark, because our HDD factory itself is very manual, okay, very minimum automation and things like that, right? So with the same concept, okay, so they wanted to do it, but after that we kind of say that's not our core business, so we are not going to do that, right? But we definitely are open to help, okay. In fact, I've been kind of talking to Maida, okay, we are open to help and InvestPenang, of course, okay, to help the local industry, okay, whichever would love to hear more and see more. I mean, seeing is believing, okay. Sometimes it's very difficult to break people's mind, right? But seeing is believing, okay. In fact, last week we just entertained this MSIA and MPC delegates, okay, to really come and take a look. We have one lineup, okay, next week, okay, for another company and things like that, right? So we are definitely willing to do that, okay. So reach out to Dato.
That's great. So, Mr. Bock, I'm going to take you on this, right? Because there are a lot of questions also been posed. Are you open for site visits? Are you any chance for the benchmarking visit to your company to see this clearly? And since you have given the offer, I shall grab this opportunity to say thank you, and InvestPenang will arrange for a visit. And all these participants here today who've asked that question and are interested to go and visit the Western Digital factory, register with us, and we will then plan a visit for you with Mr. Bock to actually, like what you say, seeing is believing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a coordinated way through InvestPenang will be better, because otherwise, yeah.
Good. I think we'll take one last question. A few people have asked, do you use a dedicated team for this? Or do you just use people in the production floor? And if you have a dedicated team, how big is the team?
Okay, very good question, right? A lot of people ask me this question also. So I mean, in the spirit of, like I mentioned, do more with less. Okay, so when we embark on this, it's the same thing. We don't go and recruit 50, 100 people and dedicate them, okay, to do this. In fact, we only have 5 people. Okay, 5 people that embark on this. Okay, but our intent is that, like I say, you look at holistically, then you know which are the area that is a lot of waste, require a lot of manpower, or whatever you name it, right? So those are the areas that you attack, okay, so that you can release and free up these resources. And these resources become your added resources, okay, into your team structure, right? And they are not dedicated, okay? They are still part of the ecosystem, but they are in their respective process expert, okay, as a subject matter expert, but they are leveraging, okay, the understanding, the development of 4IR, okay, and how to implement it in their process. So that should be the way. Instead of you create another dedicated 100 people or 50 people, okay, just to do this, and they are not the expert of the process. By the way, you need to know, you need to have the expert of the process of the equipment, and also the knowledge, okay, of what are required, okay, to be able to do this. Because otherwise you are just, like I say, you just automate for the sake of automation, okay, and you will not reap the full benefit of it.
Okay, one last question, Mr. Bock. So what you're doing is actually high volume production, right? So for SMEs and especially those who are doing very high mix, low volume, is this feasible? Is this?
Yep. Yeah, it's feasible. I mean, a lot of people also ask, okay, can this be done on non-semicon or whatever? Of course, because the 4IR technology enablers, okay, basically is common. The only thing is that the how to use it, where to use it, okay, and that require the respective, okay, subject matter expert and the content expert in your respective industry, right? Okay, to be able to see, okay, this is how, I mean, just like IoT, okay, which sensor at which area, taking what data and things like that, okay. If you go to textile, okay, only textile people know, okay, what data is needed, okay, for them to run a high quality process, right? Okay, in semicon is different, okay. So, but it's the same, it's the IoT. But once you have that IoT understanding, the sensor is sensor, right? Okay, how to get the data, how to do analytics, how to design in logic, okay, and things like that. Those are concepts, okay.
Good. I think we're running out of time. I am truly excited to see this journey that you have embarked on. I'm truly excited because I've seen how you bring it from Shanghai to Penang. And I remembered when Mr. Bock first came in here and I asked him, are you going to bring this lights off factory to Penang? He that time said to me, cost is too high. The return is not there, so not yet. But to see this happen is actually very exciting for me. And I remember when I asked him in Shanghai, he said he used 3 Chinese service providers, solution providers, and 1 Malaysian one. But right now in Penang, I think with this transformation in WD is the other way around. He's using mainly local solution providers and only the robots he's buying from China. So that's great. That's great because I think the local solution providers are going to benefit from this. The talent are going to benefit from this. And I thank you again for the willingness to open your factory and the site to people to come and have a look in this. I think this journey is very important because Penang is now transforming from high operators and direct labor to a lower skill mix right now. We all have seen that in this COVID situation, borders are closed. Every time I meet anybody from the industry, the first thing they say to me is, can you help me? I cannot get operators. I need 2,000, I need 1,000. I think all of us have that problem. And if there's one lesson that we learned from this pandemic, and especially this border closure, is that we need to automate and we need to do it as quickly as possible. So this journey is very important for everybody. I think Mr. Bock is the only one who sees me and never asks me for problems about direct labor because he's already sorted out that solution, that problem in this solution. So again, for everybody who's here, thank you very much for participating. Thank you for Mr. Bock for sharing this 1 hour with us, and I think everybody appreciates this. And again, I want to thank you for allowing us to organize a visit to your factory, and for all our participants who are interested, let us know. We will work with Mr. Bock to know how many we can accommodate in each visit. And again, thank you very much, all of you, for attending this session, and to Mr. Bock especially. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you, Dato Lu and your InvestPenang team. Okay, thank you. And industry captains. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.